Randy Thorne of Patreon says, do you feel a difference in the performance of the boat now that you have a new engine and the bottom was repainted? I like your new bottom, by the way. Oh, sorry, I meant Esper's.
Yeah, Randy, the engine is a big improvement. It's the same match to the old engines. They're both 60 horsepower. Obviously, over the years, the old engine just, I don't know, just lost some of its oomph. Now, when we cruise, or when we motor at least, we've gained around about a knot in speed. Here we go. This is what she sounds like.
This is the anchorage where we've been staying for the last couple of nights. It's called Singabessa, and Singa, if you know your Bahasa, means lion. So we've come ashore to see if there are in fact any lions on Singabessa.
How long have you been here?
229 days today. After the fourth time I come here.
Wow.
Like fishermen come. Oh, Zen, have a tea.
Yes.
For coffee. I have a fish.
Yes.
So it's a
Yes.
good butter trip for the life. You know?
No, that's great. We
Yeah,
do
it's
that
not money.
quite a bit.
How England today?
England is cold and dark.
We are going to go for a little walk and find a river, a waterfall and a little lake apparently, but it's somewhere up in there, and it's supposed to be quite hard to find the track, but should be a bit of fun. So let's go and see what's happening in the jungle. I think it's shoes off for me here.
This is the bit I'm not looking forward to. Oh God.
Been attacked by... We've no idea where we're going. We were told it's sort of to the right, and we're just making it up as we go along. Maybe up there, Liz? Do you want me to have a quick look?
Yeah.
God, these thorns are horrible.
Is there a way through?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, we've come through mangrove swamp and a bit of jungle, and now we've got a lake. Someone's built a wall. Water lilies in the lake, which is lovely. Personally, I'm not going to go and have a dip with the swirly-gogs and the groupers.
I think I might wait for the waterfall.
Somewhere like this is quite different to taking a stroll in Richmond Park. It reminds me a little bit of somewhere Jamie and I went called the Lost Garden of Heligan, and they have a whole tropical area which is full of the trees and the greenery that you see here. But this, of course, hasn't been planted. It's natural, and it's really great being a part of it. But, of course, there are snakes, there are some very strange insects, and there are a few kind of dangerous things. And you do know you're on your own out here. Probably the most dangerous thing apart from the odd snake, is the monkeys in this part of the world, because they do like to come up to you and nick things like sunglasses and anything they can get their hands on. So have a rock and have a stick, so that when they come close, you can look scary.
Because there is one close.
Yeah, it's just, sorry, there's one just up here. If there's one, there's more.
Okay, Dasha on Patreon wants to know, you know how hot and sometimes unbearably humid it gets where you are? How is it away from land when you sail or when you're anchored? Do you get more of a coolish breeze, or is it just as bad?
We're sailing right now and the breeze is fabulous. It's really great. So there is quite a difference when you're sailing to being on land. I mean, there's no comparison. I've just been down below editing and come up here, and it's refreshing and wonderful. So what I would say is, on land, very, very hot. At anchor, not so bad, and you get more of a breeze. Than sailing, obviously it's brilliant. Dasha wants to know, how much time do you spend filming, editing and responding to comments on social media?
Well, before we went weekly, we were spending up to 5 days to edit each episode. As you can imagine, that is a lot of time. It was pretty much a full-time job. Now we've gone down to weekly. We're trying to get it down to around about 2 days, although it can still take a little bit longer. Bearing in mind, we don't just film, we have to edit, we have to source the music as well. So that is quite time consuming, but we're narrowing it down. Regards to comments on social media, well, we just do that as and when, really. Quite a few of our viewers are based in the States, which means that first thing in the morning when we wake up, we have an opportunity to answer those questions before we've even done anything on the boat. Dasha asks another question. Do you allocate certain times of the day, kind of like a proper job, where you do admin stuff during a specific time period, if that makes sense?
It makes perfect sense, Dasha, but we don't really live a 9-to-5 lifestyle, and we're not quite sure what we're going to be doing from one day to the next. So we grab the moments when they arise for admin, but it's not my favourite job. Dasha wants to know how we came up with the name of Follow the Boat.
Yeah, good question, Dasha. Follow the Boat, the name of this vlog, and also the written blog as well, is at least 14 years old now, I think. And it all started when I began my sailing adventures around Europe and would post back essays to my family along with some photographs. And my brother, Tim, decided to volunteer to help practice his basic HTML skills to put together some kind of blog. Bear in mind, this was before blogs were invented, before YouTube was invented, before even Facebook was invented. And it was he who came up with the name Follow the Boat. So we have him to thank for that. And by the way, Tim also came up with the name of Esper as well. So cheers, Tim. We owe you one.
This is called the fjord. It's not somewhere you'd know unless you really looked for it. A very narrow opening here between the islands, and there's room for about 2 boats, maybe 3, so we're going to give it a go and see if we can get ourselves in here and anchored here tonight.
After 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours, we have been waiting for this moment. Finally, the jet skis have left. And this is the anchorage that we want to hear. Nothing.
This is, some people call it the fjord, and according to the pilot that we use on our phone, someone's named it Monkey Creek, and that is because there are quite a few monkeys over there. We've been up for 2 hours. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We got up just before the sun came up just to capture the sunrise on the time lapse, and we've been sitting here just listening to the forest wake up in the morning, and the dawn chorus is probably the best we have heard since leaving India. As I pan around, you can see that we are surrounded by mountains, a very, very quiet anchorage. There's just one other catamaran at anchor up there, and we had a little fishing boat who was anchored next to us, must have come in at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
This is a question from Rob Jones, one of our Patreons, and he says, I have a cheeky question for you all. What do you miss most about living in the UK? And please don't say being stuck on the M25 in rush hour. Yes, being stuck on the M1 in rush hour. There's quite a few things that we miss from home. Obviously, it goes without saying that family and friends is the main thing. Both Liz and I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters, and we miss out on all of these guys growing up and, you know, expanding their family. And of course, our parents as well, we miss too. So that goes without saying. Personally, pubs, it's got to be pubs and music. Definitely the exposure to lots of different types of music and a nice country pub with an IPA. That's definitely what I miss. What about you, Liz?
I miss the seasons, I think. I like to be cold now and again and wear a nice woolly sweater, maybe for a day.
For a day.
Just for a day. And the countryside, the beautiful British countryside. We live down in Sussex and it is beautiful there, so I do miss that. We've had quite a few questions about the cockpit table, so we've put together a little piece to show you what it looks like. Reds Morris and Sailability Auckland have both asked us to show you how it works. By the way, Sailability Auckland are a great NGO in New Zealand. We've just started supporting them on Patreon. They provide a service for disabled people to learn to sail. Here is the new table. All of this is new. The piece across the top, the whole table here, and the way that it's been attached. So we wanted to make it as long as possible, and we wanted it to fold out so that we could sit comfortably and eat our dinner. Swings up like this, and underneath is the original system that our lovely friend Brian installed for us in India. So what you do, so the advantage of this system is that you've got loads of room, leg room underneath here. You can kick each other, you can cross your legs, you can move around without knocking the table over, which is tremendously important. The first one that came with the boat had a post down here and was always being kicked over and lost. So if you want to eat, you need to make the table wider. And the way you do that is using Young of PSS's incredible system. Simple. Pull this out. Fold over your lovely piece of teak. So here we have our lovely big smooth table. As you can see, we've already been using it. It's covered in stains and it will gradually go grey. It's got nice rounded corners here so that when we get up we don't cut ourselves while we're going down below. And it's a revolution. We've never ever had such a great table. So thank you, Brian, for your magical design, and thank you PSS for producing this fabulous top.
Can you just explain why we haven't varnished it?
We haven't varnished it because varnish just goes off, and we really want the teak just to look like teak, to look like the cockpit does, for it all to just settle in and just age naturally.